Welcome to Northwest Connects. This is the program where we keep you connected to what's happening in the Northwest Local School District. And we have in our studio today Superintendent Darrell Yater, and also we have some teachers that I'm going to introduce to you. I'm going to tell you about a couple awards, and then we're going to introduce the people in the district who were honored with these awards. So let's start with that. The first award I'm going to start with it's the T in PTA honoree. This is an award that recognizes teachers, administrators, and other certified staff who actively support the PTA and make a positive impact on children and families. This award aims to honor individuals who embody the PTA's mission of making every child's potential a reality. Superintendent Yater, introduce us to the honoree in the Northwest District. Who is the T and PTA honoree?
It is my honor. We have a teacher in every building who is nominated and represents that building, and then we have one person who represents the district as they move forward. And the person this year that's representing the district as they move forward in the T and PTA competition is none other than our infamous White Oak PE teacher, Janet Hunnicky. So applause, drum roll, all of those things. Janet is amazing. So all the things that you read about what that award represents, making students feel special, bringing out the best of them, but also being a partner in the school community and a partner with parents. Janet does above and beyond in White Oak to make sure that kids don't miss out on any opportunity, and the Parent-Teacher Association has the resources they need. So running fundraisers, helping with dodgeball tournaments. Like, the thing that's so impressive is that Janet will not only organize the event, but she will referee it, she will keep score, and she will MC it all at the same time and never miss a beat. So her influence on not just the children of White Oak, but the staff, the parents, and the entire White Oak community is resounding, and it's why she is our district nominee for the T and PTA.
There is another award we're going to recognize here, and that is the Hamilton County Educator of Excellence honoree. This is also known as the Celebrate Excellence Award. The Hamilton County Education Foundation recognizes teachers in the county who demonstrate excellence in their profession, often highlighting their dedication to student achievement, ability to challenge students, and positive impact on learning. And Superintendent Yater, who is our district nominee, our honoree for this award?
So again, we look at staff from all of our buildings, and the person who is going to be representing our district is none other than our preschool teacher, Nancy Holt, who is amazing. Our littlest children come into preschool, and Nancy is the preschool whisperer. So students who are learning what it means to be in school, who are doing early literacy and numeracy skills. She is a master at being able to organize the children into learning groups to bring out the best of them. Our kids who come out of our preschool and go into kindergarten far exceed other kids who don't have that experience. She is looked at as an expert in preschool, not just here, but in the area. Our related service staff, our school psychs and speech work with her. She is looked at as an expert from our staff. She is a resource to them, to the parents, and she brings out the best of our preschool. So you can't say preschool without saying Nancy.
Thank you. I want to ask you some questions about teaching, about your experiences, because I think anyone watching now wants to meet you a little bit more. And we'll start with you, Janet. We'll start with, what inspired you to become a teacher?
Oh, without a doubt, the teachers that I had in school. I was able to do things like, back when we had overheads, they let me switch the overheads when they were, going on to the next portion of the lesson. I was kind of like a teacher aide, and that just really inspired me all the way up. I knew without a doubt I wanted to be a teacher.
How about you, Nancy?
I would have to say Mrs. Dahl in first grade at St. Catherine's Elementary when I was little. She was just always somebody that I aspired to be like. She was always joyful, always happy. When she wasn't there, you knew she wasn't there, you were sad. So I would have to say she was probably my biggest influence.
Are you looking at some of these students and thinking, hey, they also might be having that kind of experience in their schooling.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've even said to some of the, particularly the eighth graders, you know, you ought to think about going into teaching. It's a wonderful career. Every day I get the opportunity to impact a student in a positive way, and that's what I want to do every day, is have an impact, positive impact on our students. And I chose, we had an opening at White Oak. I was at Coleraine for 14 years, and I always wondered if I liked middle school. And we had an opening at White Oak, and Mr. Gehring was down there, and we both entered the district at the same time, and he was the principal. And without a doubt, I said, you know, this is something I want to try, and I love it. I love middle school.
Tell me if you can think of a particular moment in your teaching, and I'm sure there's more than one, but if there's a particular moment in your teaching that makes you think, this is why I love doing this.
For me, the first time I had a nonverbal student say hello, I just melted. That was it. It was everything. It was everything. And I've had that experience multiple times, but the very first time they say hello, it's like, gotcha.
Oh, that's real trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That they were willing to do that. That's fantastic. Yeah. Do you have one of those moments? Those are obviously a very different age group. Do you have any of those aha moments?
I think this past school year, it was during the Coleraine High School homecoming parade. And it's normally the homecoming parades when I see the kids and they see me differently than being in school. And when they're on their floats and they're throwing candy to me or they're calling my name and they're waving, that's when I know I've made the right career choice in teaching and the right district. This district is so special. We have great kids, we have great parents, the community support is awesome, and our administrative support, I couldn't ask for more.
What are some of the ways that you see the district supporting you as a teacher that makes it a great place to be teacher-wise?
I think for me, it's Mr. Yater's in our building all the time. So he comes into classrooms, he comes into the gym, and he tells me, volleyball's my favorite sport. When you play volleyball,
Good to know.
make
Okay.
sure you're calling me.
Okay.
And our principal, Mrs. Grody, comes in and she participates. She'll play with the kids.
Oh, that's great.
And it makes such a difference because they get to see her too, not, as just a normal person playing soccer or speedball. That's her favorite sport, is speedball.
Okay.
And so she plays with us.
So do you play volleyball?
I coached middle school volleyball when I first started teaching, so that's why I love to participate with volleyball, because I love to play it, but I also coached middle school volleyball when I first started. And Janet's gym is a very welcoming place. I mean, the reindeer games were hosted there. I remember playing that with the antlers on, and
Right.
just the different ways that she gets every kid engaged. It's really special.
How about you? Do you find ways that the district makes it easier for you to be a teacher?
Yes, and they're very similar, just with the administrative piece coming in. We don't probably see Mr. Yater as often as you guys do, but when we do, he always makes sure he walks the building. He says hi to everybody, always says hi to the little people. And our principal, she goes around the building as well, and we'll get down on the floor with the kids. And I don't know, it was a week or 10 days ago, I heard somebody out in the hallway, and I look out in the hallway, and there's Mr. Yater sitting on the floor playing with the kids, and that's, for me, that's huge, because the kids are little. To stand up and say hi, you're towering over them, but when you get down and actually get on their level and interact with them, that's huge.
How long have you been teaching?
43 years.
43 years. Okay. How long have you been teaching?
33 years.
Okay. What do you think, this is a big question, but what do you think makes a good teacher? What characteristics do you think you need?
I think without a doubt, building relationships. I think that's the number one thing. That the kids, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that's the biggest thing, is the building the relationships. And I learned that as the longer I taught, the more I realized it.
How about you? Do you have a...
I would have to say that in my situation, is building trust. I would probably say 8 out of 10, maybe even 9 out of 10 children, they've never been away from their parents. They've never been away from home. A lot do come in crying the first, few days, even first week. But once they know that they're in a safe place and know that they can trust you, and we greet them with hugs and, welcome them into the building. We meet them out on the sidewalk and get them off the bus and get them, when the parents bring them up to the school door and they are crying, I'm grateful the parents trust us enough to leave their child. I mean, they're 3. A lot of them don't talk. You know, you can make everything else work if you can get them to trust you enough just to let those walls down.
What is different about teaching now from when you started?
If I knew then what I know now, I think I would have really concentrated more on the relationship part. You know, understanding that the kids want to, they want to know about us, and and they want us to know about them, and they want us to go to their sporting events and support them, and they want us to see them, on the parade route, and say hi, throw candy at me, whatever they need to do. So I think that's really important, is the relationship part.
Can you think of a specific, you don't have to name names, but of a specific student success story that you look back on?
We were just talking today, not about this, about one of the students who, try not to say a name, had autism, and it was very tricky for him in life. I mean, he was really struggling, and his mom knew very well the best way to approach getting him in. And day one, they just went to the door. The next day, she had to carry him in, and they went about 10 feet down the hall. And each day she took him a little further, and then one day she sat at the door in the classroom, and then he stayed for about 10 minutes one day, and he went home. And after, it was probably a good 3 or 4 weeks, he was actually able to stay for a half an hour, 45 minutes without mom. And about a month or 2 in, totally, he could walk down the hall, with us. And then all of a sudden, he could just stay. And it was like, she knew it was best. We trusted what she was saying. She trusted us enough to, again, leave. Now, she stayed in the parking lot for the first couple weeks, but that was okay, And then all of a sudden, he just decided, this is a great place. And he stayed, and he sat, and he did, and he blossomed, and he left us talking and following a picture schedule and walking down the hall by himself, and he just grew. He was just big.
Do you also have a story about a student that you want to share?
I sure do. We're just finished up with the volleyball unit, and we had students typically struggle with serving, and we work on it, and every day we get into stations and work on it. And the particular student I'm thinking about, working on it, and the last day of the games, he was actually able to serve it over the net. And our kids, and especially I think in middle school, they're so supportive. The kids were cheering for him. I mean, his face lit up, and he didn't do it just one time. He did it like 4 times in a row.
What advice would you give a brand new teacher?
I think don't give up. Don't give up. Mr. Yater does a great job every year. We get together as a district, and the last couple of years it's been at Corwin High School. And he speaks to us. It's all the teachers, the sports staff, everyone. And I remember him saying, get rid of your lesson plans. Redo the lesson plans. Don't use the ones that you've been using 3 or 4 years. Make changes. Make them better. And that's what I do. I take my lesson plans, and I look at them, and I say, okay, this is what I need to change. This is what I need to do better for the students. And I've seen a big, big improvement, just with the students even wanting to come to class, because we're doing things that are more fun in phys ed. We are doing things that they're being successful at, which is the most important thing.
How about you? What would you tell new teachers?
If in my age level, I would say absolutely get to know the kids. Let them explore the classroom. They're not going to sit for 15 minutes at a crack out the gate. Mm-hmm. Let them explore the toys. Let them get dirty. Let them enjoy the classroom, and then slowly start pulling them in and just increase that time just a little bit. But, they have to have some sense of control over what they are and what they are not able to do, but you can set those parameters up. Just let them be kids.
What do you see, having looked at how education has been changing through the time that you've taught, what do you see looking forward as the challenges that teachers have up, and that you yourself have coming up next?
I think it's, again, just revamping the lesson plans to keep up with, because they're so technically, advanced.
Yeah,
they know an awful lot. And just to keep up with it, and to just always want to make sure that the lessons are inspiring, they're up to date, that the kids are interactive. I have found that especially when I'm teaching, if they're just sitting there, that's not a good thing. That they want to be up and they want to be moving, and that's the biggest thing.
Now you get to Darrell manage all of this from the upper level and kind of see what's going on in all your different schools with all your different teachers. What does it mean for you that you have your teachers recognized like this?
These two are so exceptional at what they do, and it is so refreshing that they get the recognition that they deserve. That's probably long overdue, but to see them get the recognition is really special. We have amazing staff in our district, which is what makes it a special place to be. And I talk a lot about how we have to know our students by name, story, strength, and need. And these two ladies just exemplify what that means, because it doesn't mean that they just know the kids, but they believe in them. And sometimes they believe in the kids more than they believe in themselves, and the kids catch up, and then they realize they can do it too. So the tenacity for these two to not just know the students, but to bring out the best of the kids, and even more so than what the kids think they can do, is amazing and special, and it's what we try to replicate.
How does it feel to be recognized like this and have us all say nice things about you in front of people?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a dream come true, especially in this district and at White Oak. There's so many awesome teachers. And, it's a big, big honor. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked.
Is there anything else you want to make sure that your district families know about related to these teachers, any of the other teachers that you have in your district?
I think these two have said it better than I possibly could. We have an amazing educational community. We have an amazing staff. We have great kids. We have great families. And when you put all that together, amazing things happen. And so these two exemplify what it means to do amazing things and to bring out the best of kids. And that's happening district-wide.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming to the studio. I want to thank you two for being here so that we can recognize you, so that we can introduce you to the rest of the community and let them see the great things happening in the district. And of course, these are only two of the many great teachers that are doing great things in the Northwest District, as we talk about every single time that we come in here. So make sure you keep watching for these, because you're going to learn more and more about the great things happening in the district. I'm also going to take a minute to say, make sure you are keeping your eye on the district's website, because that's where you're going to find out about all the other things. We're talking about one thing today. There are press releases there. You can find out all the cool things that are happening in the district. You can also find out about graduations and enrollment and registration, and all the things I know you have questions about are on that website. Thanks so much for coming in.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Darrell, is there any last thing you want to make sure you say to your families?
No, just appreciate the support that we get from the community, and we're in the home stretch of this school year, so we want to make sure that our families continue to recognize all of the amazing things. There's a lot of great events coming up. Please make sure you try to get to as many of them as possible, and then when we get to that summer break, obviously our staff need the time to rejuvenate, because this is exhausting and rewarding at the same time, and we want our families to take time to do the same thing.
I want to thank you for watching, because that means you want to be informed and connected to what's happening in the Northwest School District. And we'll see you next time.